to we have started our PR campaign for Meraki this year under the title What's Brewing in Meraki. So the whole of this year, all of you will be receiving a lot of emails and PR related stuff titled What's Brewing in Meraki. To kickstart the PR campaign today, it is my privilege and honor to interview someone who has taken Meraki to the district stage in the humorous speech contest. Ladies and gentlemen, first a big round of applause to Toastmaster Anirudh Sundararaman for taking us there on the big stage. Thank you so much, Anirudh, for joining us today and doing this interview. This interview, not even one question has been shared with Anirudh, and we had that kind of deal because we wanted to keep it as new and as fresh as possible. Whatever comes to Anirudh's mind, we just want to hear it out. Anirudh, are you ready? There are just two segments to this interview. The first one is going to be preparation and practice. The second one is the most awaited rapid fire, right? So we'll kickstart with preparation and practice. Anirudh, how much time did it take for an idea to become a script?
I'm someone who struggles repeating speeches. I find it very hard to bring that same energy on stage. So instead of focusing on one particular script, I try to come up with different scripts for every speech within the meeting. Usually when club meetings, outside contests, it's when the VP reaches out and asks for a... So it's usually about a week when I come up with an idea, formulate a script and give the speech. For the contest, on the other hand, when I rejoined Toastmasters after a break last year, my singular focus was to win the contest, but I did not know how. So it was a lot by trial and error. So to actually put it, it was more of weeks of background thinking. But to come up with the script, again, it was usual 1 week time frame. What am I going to speak about in this contest?
Oh, lovely. Okay, so 1 week from an idea to a script. How many times did you have to rewrite or edit the script to make it to that final cut, the final version?
Usually it takes about 2 to 3 times. But then at the last minute, just before walking on stage, sometimes you get an idea. So those are again some 2 or 3 extra ideas that come to me. Sometimes I'm able to implement them, sometimes no.
True, true. Anirudh, I have experienced that in a club level, you will get a roar of laughter, right? And once your audience are familiar with the kind of jokes that you're going to be telling, the laughter kind of subsides in the area level and then in the division level. Did you experience something like that? So for that, did you have to tweak something to your script?
Definitely. So I took a very analytical approach to humor. I'm usually a very serious person. I do not know, I'm not able to connect with the audience. I'm not relatable. So this is an effort in discovering the humor within myself. Even this interview, I'm not sure how serious or jovial I'll be able to manage my emotions. I'm that kind of a person. So there is a spectrum. You can be absurd. The district in the event, the chief guest, he spoke about how he came close to the camera and did a lot of gimmicks. But I'm someone who struggles to, I have this barrier within myself. I'm not able to come up with gimmicks. So when it comes to preparing a script and then taking that script to the next level, as I mentioned earlier, I try to come up with new scripts so that it's fresh for everyone. At the same time, everything is a spectrum. When I told about gimmicks to how serious you are, when it comes to, in fact, how prepared you generally are. Some people are very natural on stage, but some people are on the spot, very humorous. Some people are relatable. That relatable factor keeps going down. So this is, in theory of humor, this is called something called the range. Say, for example, when I'm in the club meeting today in Meraki, I can make jokes about Meraki, about the fact that we start on 7 a.m. at time. When it kept getting broader and broader, usually in humor, they say self-deprecation about myself, but I did not know how I could relate to others. I chose the topic of Toastmasters. So at the division level, I was trying to deprecate Toastmasters as a concept, how as an outsider I found it. Then at the district level, I spoke about Toastmaster family. So that way, that range, one has to keep adjusting at different levels is what I feel.
I personally felt knowing your audience is the winning factor in any speech for that matter. And you very well knew that, and you rightly came up with the Toastmasters Connect with the audience. Brilliantly done that way. How important is a title to a humorous speech per se?
I have gone through the ballot, so but I don't keep the judging as a criteria. One mantra that I tell to myself is go out there to entertain. That way, all your stage fear will go. At least for humorous speech contest, it is your responsibility to entertain. If you are able to come up with a speech title that is entertaining, say for example, a contestant came up with a very funny title. Before even I saw the contestant, I was beginning to laugh. So I think for others it was important, but I do not know if I have the creativity to come up with a very clever title. As you mentioned, the relatable factor probably is more important than the title.
Well said, well said. Okay, so we all test our scripts with our friends and family, right? And when you have the Toastmasters DTM family, how is it testing your script with them? Did you even try that?
Yes. So usually in different clubs, they ask who is your mentor. Only recently I chose a formal mentor outside my family. Usually it has been my parents where I take my script to them. This time I went and spoke to them saying that I have an agenda. I want to speak like this. Please look out for these aspects within my speech. If I'm not able to look for other aspects. So I did get very honest evaluation on that. In fact, I got some script improvement, some tweaks from DTM Sundararaman. He was able to point out how when I adjust the structure of my speech, it sounds a little more humorous. He was able to bring in exaggeration within my speech through some suggestions. So definitely I would say that played a more important role than coming up with the script. Getting that feedback was a lot more important.
Should we kind of say that's the only one time that you agreed with your parents? Okay. No, I was just commenting
Sure,
on your.
sure.
Okay, Anirudh, we all speak hoping the audience will react in some way. When it comes to audience responses, it's very crucial in a humorous speech. Did you personally feel your audience reacted and responded the way you intended them to?
There are 4 levels, right? Club, area, division, and district. I would say only at the division level, I got the feedback that I wanted. The metaphor I would like to think of is waves. You need that rolling laughter going. So at the time you finish, the next wave should start and keep coming. But when you first start missing the initial waves, it feels like one suggestion that I've heard, but found it very difficult to implement is instead of going in with a rigid script, you can go with a structure, then be able to switch out scripts. But I don't think I have the skills yet to do that, to understand the audience pulse and switch and context. So if you think of doing this metaphor, I think it does play a role in how you motivated, how you are able to present the next joke on stage. And at the division level, I think I would say it went well.
True. Very true. I was there to witness that personally. There was a roaring laughter in the room. Anirudh, in a humorous speech, what do you think gives that winning edge? Is that the wordplay or the body language?
I would say I'll go with body language. Usually it is with relatability. Yes, in a humorous speech, more clever. You need to be clever. At the same time, downplay yourself, self-deprecate. Wordplay comes across as smart, but I think that is more suitable for evaluation contests, TT, and ISC speeches. In humorous speech, I personally think nothing comes close to being relatable to the audience. In that, body language plays a tremendous role. Even when we see Tamil film comedians, a lot of us enjoy comedians like Vadivel, who brings out a lot through his body language. So I would go with body language.
Fantastic. Anirudh, your sincere thoughts about why people have a message in a humorous speech?
I think there are 2 aspects to it. One, humorous speech, people feel it's an insurance. Oh, at least if I have a message, I made it worth their time. The 5 to 7 minutes that I spent, even if they did not laugh, they got some takeaway from it. The second part of it, a lot of really good speakers, usually there is this curve. There are beginner speakers, mediocre speakers. I would rate myself somewhere in the middle. Then there are expert speakers. Usually the beginner and the expert speakers don't think about the ballot too much. But someone like me, we obsess over the ballot a lot. In the ballot, when it asks for some structure, for some originality, for some takeaway, even though there's no message, people generally tend to think, okay, here are some 5 easy points that I can score, 10 points that I can score. And I think that's one of the reasons why people tend to include a message. But a message is not needed. I think a story is very important. I feel a structure is very important.
Very well said. A story is much needed, and a speech organization is much important than a message in a humorous speech. Anirudh, I'm curious if you had any alternate speeches. Did you have an alternate speech?
Usually I have some alternate speeches, but the week before the contest, at least last year, I stuck to one script and kept tweaking it. So usually there comes a risk of changing the speeches. As I mentioned, I did not repeat speeches, but when it came to one level to another, I got some feedback that the second half was not humorous. So I gave it a shot at another level. I just tweaked the second half alone. But I think I'm not able to remember scripts easily. It becomes overwhelming if I prepare multiple scripts, speeches.
True, very true, very true. Anirudh, the toughest part in a humorous speech from your experience, from preparation to practice, what was the toughest part?
I think it is when you get onto stage and your first few jokes don't elicit any laughter. That is when you begin to panic on stage. So one of my co-contestants, he was saying, dude, I like you, but I'm unable to sit next to you because at the last minute you're going through your notes again and again. It's making me nervous. So when you're that nervous and when you get onto the stage, for someone like me, I might even forget the script. So I think that was the hardest part when you get onto the stage and you don't see any laughter happening. So that means you have to switch on the fly. That is not something that I am capable of it.
Anirudh, your quick thoughts on the power of mentoring.
I think a lot of speeches, not only humorous, it is less to do with ticking check boxes. Yes, there is a ballot. Yes, you get that. But to go, they say to go a long way, you need to be motivated about everything. I was even worried what will happen if something good actually happens in the district contest. Is that the end of the road? How will I find the motivation to do so? I did not get into any self-sabotage mentality. I gave it my best, but still there was this thought, what comes after success? Like, how do we continue that? In that, I think motivation is very important. It is about the individual rather than the script and the audience. Although you would like to relate to the audience and you want to entertain that audience that day, as a speaker, you need to go the long way. I'm here in it for the next 30 years. As long as I'm in Toastmasters, I would like to keep attempting humorous speeches again. And I think mentorship is number one, most important to that, about managing your motivation, your mood, not giving up, not getting discouraged. So I would say very, very important.
Wow, what a profound thought. The last question in preparation practice. What's next, Anirudh?
I feel I've been one approach that I've taken, which seems to be comfortable with me, is taking the longer route. I don't mind giving up, experimenting and failing. I would rather gather as many data points as possible. What makes someone laugh? What makes people of this age group, this demography, all those people laugh? I've been trying to attend several club meetings just to understand the pulse of different members on what ticks them. So I will continue this journey again and again. That's why I've embarked on engaging humor pathways. So even with the level 3, when I took an earlier path of visionary communication, I moved on beyond the electives. Over here, I'm trying to go through all the electives in level 3. So I'm trying to give them in a humorous manner.
Fantastic. So that wraps up our first part. Let's quickly jump into rapid fire. Are you ready?
Yes.
No quick answers, one-word answers if possible. One Toastmaster who inspired you.
My father, DTM Sundararaman.
Your toughest opponent.
The district finalist, winner.
Winner. Who is the better listener? DTM Sundararaman, DTM Jayanti, none of the above.
DTM Sundararaman.
DTM Sundararaman, okay. In 5 years, Anirudh will become a
very engaging speaker that everyone would like to listen to.
Wow. One tip you would give to the contest aspirants.
Please participate in as many contests as possible and discover about yourself.
Wow. Okay. Communication or leadership?
Communication.
The best thing about Meraki is?
The fact that everyone is very encouraging even if you fail.
ISC TT evolves humor, the toughest contest.
ISC.
Like ISC, if there is one contest you think is worthy going to the World Championship, that would be?
TT,
TT. Online, offline meeting.
offline meetings.
Offline meeting. One training that you think we need to mandate in our district.
How to focus on your path while giving speeches and not stray away from the path. For example, engaging humor.
Fantastic. One leadership role that you always wanted to do.
You don't have an answer for that.
Okay.
I'm sure.
One secret about Anirudh that we don't know.
I am extremely serious all the time. Humorous speeches are the only time I try to be funny.
Okay. Being a dual member, boon or bane?
Definitely a boon.
Being a second child, boon or bane?
Definitely a boon.
Being a son to DTMs, boon, bane, no comments.
Definitely a boon.
Your all-time favorite comedian?
Vadivel, but I usually like script writers. Script writers are my heroes.
Okay. Some judges never laugh no matter how good the jokes are. True, false, I don't know who the judges are.
I don't know who the judges are.
I implement the feedback I receive. Always, sometimes, never.
I always listen to the feedback, apply them sometimes.
Okay. Starting all over from the club level is a pain point in contest. Strongly agree, disagree, strongly disagree.
Strongly disagree. That's what makes it fun.
Oh, that brings us to a wrap of the rapid fire. Thank you so much, Anirudh. It's been an absolute pleasure and honor to kickstart this PR campaign with you, our division contest winner in humorous speech. Wishing you all good luck and happy Toastmastering. Back to you, Toastmaster of the day.
Fantastic. And